Well, joining us live from Austria to tell us more is journalist and expat Alex Story. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning.
So tell us, what's the key reasoning? We can hear you. What's the key reasoning behind the new lockdown? Is it to do with vaccine uptake, or has there been a huge rise in cases?
Well, officially, that's an interesting question. Officially, it's because there's been a rise in cases to something like 11 or 12,000. The difficulty for me is that when you look at the facts or the data from the OECD and such organizations, Austria is actually not doing that badly. Austria, in terms of vaccination rate, is in the middle. It's neither good nor bad. It has a very, very small number of deaths that come from COVID. So the question is, why is it happening now? So partially, one of the things that we have to understand is how important the tourism sector is to Austria. And one of the things that the Austrian government had mentioned a couple of years ago, and again last year, is one of the things they wanted to do is to ensure that the skiing season was left open. And one of the things that they're trying to do now is to try and appear tough in order to be able to keep the very important December, January, February months open for skiing. Now, that's obviously not something that a lot of people might speak about in the UK, but Austria, I think, depends 18% of its GDP on tourism. So it's very important to bear that in mind.
Alex, I understand that the Freedom Party, the right of centre Freedom Party, are making a stand against mandatory vaccination. Is there any polling on this subject? I mean, do most people in Austria support this?
Well, actually, what's interesting about this is that what we had in Vienna it was the biggest or the second largest demonstration in the Second Republic of Austria. So when was that introduced? 1948. The numbers vary between 40,000 to 170,000, depending on who you are. The interesting thing is the eclectic nature of the people that you saw there. It's very easy to try and politicize it, but actually when you saw the people there, and I know quite a few who went because they're friends, there were doctors, there were healthcare workers, there were professors from universities who are not very keen on having a mandate of any sort. But what's interesting is what you say, the only party that makes the stand on this issue is the FPÖ. And what does that mean? It means that, of course, the media then attaches this eclectic group of people to a political party, where actually it's just normal people having a very, very strong feeling against this mandate, against this breach of human rights in a way.
I understand that, Alex. And what's your position? I mean, you're there, you're an expat living there, so presumably if you want to stay there and work after February, you will have to have the vaccine as well, yeah?
Well, so the issue for me is simply that the Austrian Republic is imposing itself in family matters because, like most of us, I'm married, it's a constant discussion. I'm trying to be polite because my wife is probably watching this somewhere else, and I want to have a nice Sunday. It's a sunny day, and I want to be able to enjoy it. So I'll try and be as circumspect as I can. There are lots of issues on which my wife and I don't agree on, and so the vaccination thing is one of these things. And so the Austrian Republic is forcing the issue on either me or my wife. And what does that mean? It means that I'm going to be siding on my wife's side. But we have this replicated across Austria. There are about 2 million or more people who are not vaccinated, and that means about 3 million households where one member of the family is not vaccinated, and that means that they are forced either to make a choice. The choice is we go with the government or we go with our spouses. And of course, in the end, it's the spouse, hopefully, that wins. So at the moment, what it means for me is, thankfully, I've got most of my work outside of Austria. I live in Austria, but I travel quite a lot. So I'm not really affected by this. What's really difficult is for people who who work in the public sector and who are bullied daily into making a stand and to taking this vaccine. It's really awful to live in a country that forces you to do things like that.
It's pretty astonishing. Alex Story, thank you.